the wisdom that is being presented in the Bible, we can actually use, or it is linked with the financial markets and with the price of Bitcoin. And I'm going to explain to you in today's video how the wisdom that is in the Bible, how that is connected through cycles that we are seeing in the regular financial markets, but also in Bitcoin. It's very interesting, guys, and I think we can use the wisdom that is presented in the Bible. We can use that to steer our life into a better direction and to prepare for future events, and to basically use that wisdom for your own and maybe for your environment's benefit as well, right? But the insight in that wisdom is already very important, because there are some universal laws that are governing the universe that are basically non-debatable. They govern the universe, and they are based on time, but in a cyclical way, and that we are going to talk about. So first of all, guys, let's start off with the idea that everything is actually kind of a frequency. The word frequency already says it comes from frequent. How frequent is something? And we have to put this in the box of time. And I call it a box because time is cyclical in nature. It is not linear like we've been taught. For example, from the year 0 to the year 2000, we are going in a linear way. That is not how time works, as far as I understand it. Time works in a cyclical way, which means that the year 2000 something can be similar as to a different year in the past in terms of energies, in terms of frequencies, because it moves in a cyclical way. And that's why the knowledge that is being presented in the Bible is also valid to the times right now, because there is nothing new under the sun. What we are seeing right now, the current events that are happening, are repetitions of the past. So we have to dive more into this, guys. I personally found this very interesting, but I'm going to show you in today's video a very profound cycle that is mentioned in the Bible. I'm going to give a couple of references, and I'm going to explain as far as I understand about this and how significant this basically is. So first of all, guys, 7 is a very important number that comes often in the Bible, right? And of course, the most important thing is the 7th day. God rested on the 7th day after the creation. So guys, let's have a look at a couple of verses that is talking about this as well. And the first one is from Leviticus 25:4, and it's stating, "But in the 7th year there shall be a Sabbath or solemn rest for the land, a Sabbath to the Lord. You shall not sow your field or prune your vineyard." In other words, you're basically not going to harvest anything in the 7th year. In the 7th year, you are going to leave the land alone. You already harvested in the first 6 years. You should have accumulated something in those first 6 years. The 7th year, you leave alone and you let the land rest. Just like the 7th day is a resting day, just like Sunday is a resting day, right? Another one is from Deuteronomy 15:1-2, and it's stating, "At the end of every 7 years you shall grant a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor shall release what he has lent to his neighbor." So this kind of like debts being cancelled every 7 years. So it's also already being mentioned that it's a type of financial thing that is going on as well. And then we have another one, and this is also very interesting. This is from Genesis 41:29, and this is, "Behold, 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout all the land of Egypt." And this is from Joseph. "But after them there will arise 7 years of famine." This is a little bit different, right? So here we have 7 years of accumulation or 7 years of prosperity, followed by 7 years of like basically inactivity. That's a little bit different than how we normally look at the shmita cycle, to be honest, but it's still referring to 7, the number 7. There is a cycle of 7 years that is repeating, and that is repeating throughout nature, that is repeating throughout human behavior, and it's also repeating in the financial markets. So when we overlay the shmita years over on the financial markets, guys, we can see that it is so accurately predicting the years that you should not really be actively investing in terms of buying. And that is exactly what the Bible says. You're going to rest on the 7th day, the 7th year. You are not going to harvest. And if we have a look at a couple of examples, so we have like the financial crisis in 2007, 2008, also known as the housing market crisis. This was in a shmita year. Also the .com bubble that completely popped was in a shmita year. As you can see, there were multiple corrections. So here, for example, we have an uptrend, right? But during the shmita year, that uptrend, it is not going further. It is just moving sideways, moving downwards. There is no action. There is no harvest. Here, there's also no harvest. Here, in the beginning, there is some volatility. Eventually, it goes up. There are some exceptions. I gotta be honest, guys. There are definitely some exceptions. Maybe it will become even more accurate if you divide the money supply with it. So you look at the purchasing power from the financial markets. But the recent 2022 bear market that we've seen in Bitcoin and in the regular financial markets, guys, was also a shmita year. And now it's becoming even more interesting, because, and this this might be a little bit funny, guys, but if we look at the anatomy of our body, we can also see this cycle coming back. So when we, for example, have a look at our face, right? We have 7 holes in our face. We got 2 in the ears, 2 in the eyes, 2 in the nose, and 1 is the mouth. And the mouth is the last one, and it's the only one that is not symmetrical, because all of these are symmetrical except for the mouth, and from the mouth everything comes down. So the 7th year, the 7th opening in your body, everything goes down. This might sound a little bit crazy, guys, but this is really what I think, how this is all interconnected. So we are caught up in these cycles of wave, and we just need to get the knowledge about this. We need to get the biblical, the timeless knowledge about this. We need to understand this better, because once we can understand it, we can follow the laws that are given to us. We can follow these laws, and once we are following these laws, we will be more in tune with nature. We will be more in tune with the universe. That is the whole point. That is the reason why we should study this and why we should learn more. That is, for me personally, the reason why I'm studying this right now on a day-to-day basis, and every day I'm getting new insights. And like I shared in my previous video when I was sitting in the train, that everything is cyclical. The root cause of every price action that you see is already rooted in a moment way before we are seeing any manifestation in the price. So the cause and effect, when we have a look at that cause and effect, the cause is something that happens way before we are seeing the effect, which is the price, the change in price. So whenever the price goes up or down in a dramatic way, the cause of that has been a seed that has been planted in the past already way before it actually happens. And it can be years before, it can be even longer before, because like I say, time is cyclical. It is cyclical in nature, which means that again, there is nothing new under the sun, which means that every event that we are seeing right now is but a repetition of the past. And what makes it even more interesting, guys, is that I'm reading another book of William Delbert Gann, and this book is called The Magic Word. And this book is not about trading, it's not about the financial markets, but the way that he talks about war and the way that he talks about the government and certain behavior that we are seeing right there, certain oppression and using fear to take away money from the people and eventually to lead a country into a war, so you can blame all the misfortunes that the political leaders have made during all those years. They can blame it on an external event. It is so interesting to read that somebody wrote about that roughly 100 years ago, because where are we right now? We are repeating the exact same things that we have been seeing 100 years ago. What have we learned? We haven't learned. It is still going on. But, and this is where the truth shall set you free. I think this is where that verse is coming from, is once you can understand this, and I'm not claiming that I understand it, so I'm not standing here saying that I understand all of this. No, I'm trying to learn. That's what I'm saying. But when they say the truth shall set you free, I can imagine that, wow, if you can understand all of these things, that is, there's nothing new under the sun, and you understand all these cycles, and you can understand the cause from the effects, and the effects are the physical manifestations, and you understand the causes, it will set you free, because you will step out of the effects. You will not be trapped in the physical manifestations, but you can see through it, because you can actually see the root cause of things. And by seeing the root cause of things, you can change the root cause within yourself. And once you change the root cause within yourself, your universe will change. And therefore you have an incredible power housing inside of you. And yeah, that's what I believe, guys. And I got some questions from my previous video where I said that, yeah, I do believe that the Bible predicted the 2022 bear market. I still think that's with the 7-year cycle. There are many other things in the Bible that are very profound, very significant, that we can learn from as well. But this one is how the Bible basically predicted the 2022 bear market for the regular financial markets and for the Bitcoin price. And guys, the next shmita year is in 2028, going into 2029, if I'm not mistaken. And this is very interesting, of course, because it is getting closer to 2030 as well. I think many cycles, guys, are ending and are beginning in the years that we are in right now and the years that are going to come. It is really a lot of things are happening, and it's more things are happening right now than it did 10, 20 years ago. Right now, a lot of things are coming together. There's a lot of things compressed, which means that we are going to see a lot of changes. We are going to see so many changes that right now is going to be even difficult to imagine. But we can stick to the fundamental truths. And if the 7th year, a shmita year, is normally not a year of harvest, then we might not need to harvest during that year. We might need to take a step back, be a little bit more reflective on our own life, on our own behavior, maybe do some different things, but don't expect too much from the financial markets. Like I said, it's not always the case. So there are some shmita years that the stock market is going up, right? So it is definitely possible that, that the markets are going up. But generally speaking, guys, one of the biggest crises that have taken place in the history of mankind, in the history of the stock market, were during shmita years. Also, the 1929 Great Depression started with a shmita year. Okay, guys, that was it for today's video. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up, leave your comment down below. Yeah, I want to wish every single one of you a beautiful day today, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye bye.